The video you're about to watch might not make sense. If it doesn't, it's probably because you need a little bit of help with intervals and a few basic music theory concepts. If that's you, you should sign up to my free music theory DNA course, which is found on guitarinfusion.com. It's completely free. It's an email course. Sign up below. But for now, let's get into this video. Today's video, we're going to talk about how to recognize chords. Grab your guitar, we'll get started right after this. Hello, this is David. Welcome to this channel, which is all about helping you develop your musical personality on the instrument so that you can tell a better musical story. And those stories are going to be made of different things. They're going to be made of single notes played one after the other, melodic ideas, but also chords. Okay, so why do we want to recognize chords? Well, we want to recognize chords so that we can use them, associate emotions to them, and play them, deliver them to the audience so that, well, you can tell your musical story. Before we get started, I want to try something with you. I want to try this. I want to try playing this thing here, and I want you to imagine, what is it? What is that? What do you think about when I play that? You think about the blues, right? Hopefully you've played guitar before. Hopefully this is not the very first lesson you're watching because you might not know that. But if you've been playing for a little while, you can associate that sound with something, with the minor pentatonic scale, right? That first position that we all know, right? And that's because you've played it before, you've heard it before, and it's embedded into your being, most likely. That's where we want to get to when we're working with chords. So I want to get to a point where if I hear something like this, all right, I know what that is. Maybe I'm not naming it correctly, but I can apply it. I can play it. Maybe I can use it in my story. As long as you can use it in your story, that's really what matters. If you can associate this with a particular emotion, then you can use that whenever you want to deliver that emotion to the listener. Okay, so we want to get to that point. Let's go back to when I was playing that kind of pentatonic scale. What happened in your mind? Well, you associate a style with it, you associated a scale, and you can maybe picture the movement. You can picture maybe that kind of bend. It happens fairly fast. And that's because there are two elements that happen when you develop that ability. There is the hearing element. You're listening to music that uses that scale, but there is also the execution element where you're trying to replicate what you heard on a CD or something, right? And you associated patterns, shapes. That's what we're going to do today. And that comes fairly fast. So we're going to try this with a chord. I'm going to play this chord right here. And quick camera angle change. I want your attention for this. I'm going to try this. So I'm going to try something like this. Sure, you can look at the fretboard, you can zoom in, but that's not the point. The point is to listen to this and try to gather some clues as to what's happening here. Well, there's a low note. Can you? Everything else is attracted to that low note. That low note is important. That's the root. That's the note that attracts everything else and that gives meaning to the other notes. Major, minor, suspended, mysterious, open, or whatever the term you're using to define these notes, well, those notes are defined because they're attracted to something else. So that's important. That's the first thing. Remember the root. Listen to that ma, because if I change that, ma, well, that's going to become, that chord is going to become something else, right? Completely different meaning. No, this is what I have. So that's the first step. Find the root. Then ask yourself, how many notes do I have there? Well, we can do it step by step. 4 notes. 3 notes are attracted to that root. Almost like a detective trying to figure out what is going on. So that's very meticulous work, right? Just ma, ma, na. 4 notes, but eventually you will associate a feel to that, to a 4-note chord, right? Here's another 4-note chord. Not a very pretty one, but still, you write kind of a fullness, a type of fullness. Here's another one. 4 notes. Here's another one. As opposed to something like this. It's not as full. 2 notes, right? 3 notes. 4 notes. 5 notes. And so forth. So that's the first step. Understand the fullness of the chord. Why is that important? Well, it's important because when you hear something, you'll be able to start recognizing where on the fretboard it's played. If you have 2 notes, you can kind of gather that, all right, it's low or high. And it gives you an idea of where on the fretboard it's being played. If you have 5 notes, like something like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a fullness to that. 5 notes as opposed to 2 or 3. It's 5, kind of full. Well, that gives you also an idea of the area of the fretboard by listening to the root, the lowest note. And then this note, if you play for a while, you know that this is kind of in the middle of the fretboard. If you don't know, if you haven't played for a while, just search for that note. Ma. That'll give you kind of an area of the fretboard. You'll associate that with kind of the middle of the neck, as opposed to, that kind of tells you. All of those are clues, detective work, to kind of get an idea of what kind of chord that is. Now, that doesn't help you as far as understanding what type of chord that is. That's where intervals are important. And that's why I love what I call the master shape, also known as the major scale. Here's that master shape. I'm going to show you a close-up. It's the major scale that you can use from anywhere on the fretboard, but you're going to play it in A, low E string, 5th fret for the 1. Okay? And we'll have 7 notes. Now, as far as the fingering goes, you can use any fingering you want. I'm going to use, let's do a 3-note per string. So 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9. And then on the next string, we have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 notes. We're going to sing those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 8 if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now try to sing that from this note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those notes, intervals, are really interesting because, wrong angle. Here you are. They're interesting because each of these intervals are major or perfect. And this is not a lesson on intervals. I'm going to link to a lesson on intervals at the end of this video. And if you want to go a little further, check out guitarinfusion.com for a free course on intervals. It's really going to help you out. But these notes are either major or perfect. The perfect notes are the 4th and the 5th. The others are major. Why is that important? Well, it's important because if we have something like this, for example, this kind of chord, if you figure out the lowest note, if you can hear it, from that, you can start singing your ba 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 and see where it clashes. So 1, 2. You might need to stay on that for a little while. Yeah, I like that. Yep. 1, 2, 3. That doesn't work at all. You need to make that 3 something else. 3. You need to lower that third. That gets into altering intervals, but that's a minor third. Therefore, we're dealing with a minor chord here. 1, 2, 3, 3, minor 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. And as you go through these notes of the major scale, it'll give you a good indication of what kind of chord you're dealing with. Major, minor. Are there any embellishments in that chord? A second, a sixth, and all of that. These embellishments, the notes of the chord, are going to fit the major scale or not. If it doesn't fit that major scale, you just find the closest interval, so 5th, 2nd, 6th, whatever it is, and see where it's altered to fit that chord. And that's kind of how you can hear any chord. It all has to do with those intervals. Eventually, if you do this work, and I hope you do, if you do this, you will instantaneously pick up these chords when you hear them. You'll be able to tell that this, oh yeah, that's a minor 7th with a 9th, so a minor 9th chord. You'll be able to hear that, just like you can tell that this is the minor pentatonic scale. Why? Again, because you're using your ear, you're associating with what you're hearing emotions, colors, whatever term you want to use there, and also a shape. And that's where it starts. So what do you do with this? What do you do with this? That's the question. Well, listen to a song, any song, simple song maybe. Try to replicate the first chord of that song on your instrument. So you might look at musical genres that have chords, clear chords, like anything on the radio should work. And once you have that first chord, try to analyze it mentally first. Is it a full chord, rich chord, a lot of notes, a few notes? Just gather clues like that. And then with your instrument, try to replicate that chord, note by note. Then ask yourself, do these notes fit that major scale or not? If yes, well, great. That chord is made of a root, all chords are, major 2nd, major 3rd, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, major 6th, major 7th. If not, find those alterations. And that's how you do it. A little bit every day. And I promise that that's really going to help your chord knowledge. You'll be able to hear any chords anywhere on the fly. It really does work. If this was completely over your head, well, thank you for watching this video till the end. I want to help you simplify things. Check out guitarinfusion.com. It's really making it very, very simple to understand. If anything in this video was a little confusing, guitarinfusion.com, it's a free sign up, it's a free email course, and it's going to help you, I promise. It's already helped hundreds of students, and I think it really will help you. Check it out. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Practice well. I'll see you next time.